In a previous video, I was talking about the secret ballot campaign to alter the course of governing in democracies, in parliaments, in Congress, of that kind. As Abraham Lincoln said, democracy equals government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Well, certainly what is happening is not government by the people. Various powers take charge of the whole system and creating the seesaw government, which we know as party politics. One party rules for a while, gets thrown out, another party rules. This is a crazy notion, completely crazy. What happens is that in the Congress and in the, or at least in America, in the executive, which is separate from the Parliament, the Congress, decisions are made without reference or scanty reference to the Parliament. In Australia, the ruling party creates the executive, elects, chooses the ministers and so forth, and they have all the power. And all the opposition can do is to groan, comment, criticise, and otherwise hector the government with the idea of proving that they're no good and they should be replaced. It doesn't work very well at all. Compare the situation which would exist if every decision in the Parliament was made by ballot, so that there could be no party politics, no favourites, there could be no lobbyists grabbing hold of a minister and seeking to get hold of the sort of advantage that they generally do. And of course, in both America and Australia, lobbyists are endemic. They're everywhere. Hundreds of them, all seeking the advantage they can get by close association with the ministers and other officials which have influence. Now, so what would happen then if you had a ballot in Parliament? A secret ballot. You know, there was this sort of thing which is so easy now with electronics. It could be done very easily. Well, in the first place, let me say all decisions in the Parliament would be made by ballot, and the ministers would all be elected by their colleagues by ballot once again. The ministers would be fully responsible to the Parliament if they didn't do the job that they're supposed to be doing, and if they any unfairness, any secret deals or anything like that, they would become rapidly very unpopular with the Parliament and get replaced. Not a problem. So that ministers and so forth, well, first of all, a lot of the parliamentarians would not be opposed at the election because, well, that would be another story I'll have to go into a little bit, because that's quite a lot different to what happens now, of course. In any case, if the ministers were elected by Parliament, then they'd be safe and they would not be facing the next election and thinking, better do everything in my power to make sure my party wins, otherwise I'll be out of my job. No, that would not happen. So on another occasion I shall have to go into this subject of why there would be possibly parliamentarians would not be opposed at elections. And that, of course, is all about there being no party politics would have any room for operation, because that's all developed by the open vote in Parliament, which enables the votes of all the members to be controlled, and the only ones who can be successful at elections are those which are endorsed by the major parties. That's the way life crumbles. And of course in America, when the president is elected and he elects the whole executive team, he decides himself. And while there is some supervision, some analysis of the proposed appointments, it's still the jurisdiction of the president which counts. Anyway, so all of these things about the conflict which exists within the community being reflected in the Parliament, but not in a manner which reflects the will of the people. The will of the people is not expressed in Parliament. It takes ages for the will of the people to be roused sufficiently for big changes to occur. We have a Prime Minister who's been in power for 10 years, and he is doing pretty much what he likes these days. Similarly, you've got a president in America who virtually does what he likes. But at last, the Congress has been re-elected, and you have a Democrat majority in the Congress in America, and things are changing there. But it's a long, long time, a big turnaround before the will of the people can be manifest. And that's just not good enough. The will of the people should be able to be expressed in a proper way for democracy to exist. The will of the people must come rapidly into play, just as the circumstances change. And this can be, there's no question about it. But there's so many powers at work that want to do it their way and have their own powers and advantages that it's a hard task to change. But I've written here somewhere, it's difficult to see round corners, but one day there will be sincerity in the House and no mud at all in the news, because there's been so much mudslinging by the 10-year-old party here in Australia, and they're getting scared that they're going to get thrown out. And so they're trying to dig mud as hard as they can go. That is party politics. Good luck to us. Bye.